You're on.
Well, welcome again to our weekly broadcast at 9:45 every Wednesday morning. We do this to try and bring up timely topics that are important to our patients' health. We're not trying to answer specific personal questions. These are generalized functional medicine, integrative medicine type responses. We here at Tustin Longevity, our 5 clinicians, are involved in doing standard medical care with the integrative approach. So we try and do everything lifestyle and naturally first before we have to use prescriptive medicines or more invasive therapies. And so today, I was gone the past 2 weeks. I was at a conference for the American College for the Advancement of Medicine. There I went through again the recertification for administering EDTA chelation therapies and took the test. And we'll find out if I passed it in about 3 or 4 weeks. Anyway, I've been doing chelation therapy for about 40 years and have been familiar with it since I was 7 years old. And so there's a lot of foundational information on this. Dr. Gervasio Lamas, who is the chief of cardiology at Mount Sinai Hospital, is very proactive about his phase 2, which is TAC Trial 2 and TAC Trial 3. They're very impressed with the results. So this upcoming November 14th, Thursday, we do our once-a-month seminar where you can actually come to our clinic, our IV suite, Suite I here at Tustin Longevity Center in Tustin. And you can go to our website, tlcdoctors.com. That's plural, tlcdoctors.com. And there you can be in a live audience. You can ask questions. I will be reviewing some of the new things that we've learned on our ongoing visits to these integrative medical conferences. And I'll be sharing items with you there. But I'll answer other questions as well. Here today, we want to talk about a few items that pertain to some of the things we're doing here, and then I'll try and entertain any questions and give a generalized response. One of the things I want to point out before we start, though, is that remember we mentioned to you that we want to give the gift of life or gift of health. And so to have a meaningful Christmas this year, we are offering the gift certificates that I had mentioned. We have these Tustin Longevity Center gift certificates where you can purchase them and give this gift to someone, maybe for a nutraceutical or for an IV, vitamin C, especially in the winter months. We start having our immune system go down, vitamin D. So I want to let you know that that's going to be ready for you this Monday, this coming Monday. I think that's November 3rd. They'll be available for you now. We have them. The other item is, I mentioned already, November 14th, Thursday. It's always the second Thursday of every month here. In December, I believe it's on the 12th, but I will be doing one in December as well. Now, the last item I want to make sure I bring up before we go to our questions is we have a new and improved Vascuzyme. I have been practicing the integrative medicine for almost 40 years, and we believe in enzyme therapies. There's systemic enzymes and there are digestive enzymes. So the systemic enzymes are taken on an empty stomach. I take mine every morning. I take 6 every morning, and I use these to try and keep my joint pain away, my stiffness away. At age 65, 66, I can feel the aging process. And by using this every day, every morning on an empty stomach is when I use it, I stay very fluid and don't have back pain, knee pain, joint pain, finger pain, any of these kinds of pains. If I get ill, let's say I get any sort of an illness, I will take more enzymes, because if you have a sinus infection, you have a lot of accumulation of white blood cells and mucus, and you need to clean that away, of course, with plenty of water. But I take more systemic enzymes when I'm ill. So I rarely get ill, but if I do, that's what I would recommend to my patients. Or if you have a back injury, knee injury, joint injury, anything like that, And we do this because enzymes, again, briefly, not to make this all about enzymes, but we do this because inflammation is the thing that puts the human body on fire. It's the inflammatory process, the itises, the carditises, the vasculitises, the sinusitis, the gastroenteritises, the arthritises. All the itises are inflammation of your body, which is breaking down cell integrity and structural membranes. And remember, we always like to show our picture of our cell membrane here. Here's the healthy double layer, bilipid layer, and here's the injured one with the blown out part of the cell membrane. And again, when that's happening, that is what we call inflammation. That is what gives you pain. So when you're inflamed, wherever it is in your body, be it your sinuses or your blood vessels or your joint pains or anywhere, you're having breaching of your cell membranes. So you're going to lose energy. These little fragments are going to create signals for white blood response and fever, pain, and so forth, and fatigue. Therefore, we like to take the enzymes to kind of clean away the debris, clean it away. So we actually take these enzymes, got to set up these enzymes to help de-inflame us, to clear away the injured debris so that you can repair more easily. So enzymes are very important in functional medicine. And what we did is, over the years, have been working with a nutraceutical company called Orthomolecular, or I really like Orthomolecular. They are a company in Wisconsin. We love their mission statement. They want to change the health of America, improve American health with natural items. I've worked with them over 30 years. Their integrity and their availability and their responsiveness to me as a clinician and the 5 doctors who are here. When we have an issue, we share it with them and their reps, and we say how they could improve their product. And guess what? They did. And so they improved the Vascuzyme, which is their systemic enzyme, and they made it stronger, more powerful. And they did that by taking our advice, by adding an item called serrapeptase. Okay, serrapeptase is a very powerful systemic anti-inflammatory enzyme. And it wasn't that the prior Vascuzyme wasn't good. It was very good. But anytime we learn things, we try and improve our products or make it available to our patients. And we talked to the people at Orthomolecular, and they responded and they added this. And now, not only did they improve it, but they made the product less expensive. So it is more dollar friendly to you. So that is so exciting. Competition and free enterprise is so wonderful when you see they responded. They listened to us and our patients, you, and we told them what we wanted changed. They did the work, they added it, and they found a way to make it better at a lower price to you. So I wanted to bring this up today. I've done an enzyme mini video before. You can look down at the various videos I've done. But what I want to point out to you, because I have my patients had been using Vitalzyme. Vitalzyme is a very excellent product. It is from Japan, and in Japan it is a prescription item. It's very costly. It's very expensive, but it's an excellent product. Okay, so this is why I use it, because I always do the research and give my patients the best items, because this is, I'm trying to have a high standard of allopathic medical care here, functional medicine care. So since this was so expensive and Orthomolecular took the challenge, now they have this at a very similar quality, and we're going to be testing this, and we're going to do the clinical testing on it. And what we find is that we're going to say these are equivalent now. They're equal. So if you've been using the Vitalzyme, let's say you're using 4 a day every morning on an empty stomach, we are going to say you can take this Vascuzyme, the new and improved, and you can take 4 of these. So it's an equal transfer, the same dosing. So our patients whatever your dosing usage was, you can use these interchangeably. Some of my patients who want to use both, some will use enzymes twice a day, morning and evening. And some of them are saying, well, I'll start with this in the morning and I'll take this at night because they have so much inflammatory pain in their joints. I believe that we'll be able to do this with the less expensive Vascuzyme. So I'm very excited about that. You'll also find in the Vascuzyme, whereas they used to be tablets, now they're going to be a special capsule that will prevent it from breaking down in the stomach so it can pass into the lower intestine where it will be absorbed. So this is now a capsule form. But once again, it's the same dose. If you were taking 4 a day before, or 3 a day, or 2 a day, you'll take the same dose of this. And you can interchange the dosing on both of these. Now, they also make a smaller bottle of this, okay? A smaller bottle volume-wise, just as VitalZyme also makes a smaller version as well of this. But again, it's reduced in its strength and, in my opinion, quality because they had to reduce it to try and lower the price. So I acknowledge that VitalZyme tries to produce also a more affordable, but it wasn't as strong. But the smaller bottle is the same strength. So these are the same strengths, it's just 2 different sizes. All right, so that kind of covers that. We are also, we have available Proteozyme from Zymogen. This also has serrapeptase in it. So all of these have serrapeptase in it. Now, they are excellent in every respect. But what I find is that this is where I believe we're going to be headed using just the Vascuzyme and to save you money and get good clinical results. So there you have it. We have this new improved Vascuzyme at a reduced cost. So we're always trying to do the best at the least price for you. So do we have any questions?
We have just a couple so far, but this first person is asking, can you combine DMSA with EDTA suppositories?
The question, can you combine DMSA with EDTA suppositories? So chelation is ethylene diamine tetracetic acid. And this is the active ingredient that is used in intravenous IVs. And that's what we use here is the intravenous form. But I did the research and publications on the suppository delivery system. And we showed great absorptions with a patented form of the delivery system as a suppository. And that was because many people couldn't get out to the IV suite. There's only one pharmacy that we work with that did the research together that has the patented delivery system, because you cannot mix in EDTA in any old suppository. You can't just put it in a glycerin suppository. You have to put it in a very special form that won't irritate the rectum as you use it as a suppository, and will dissolve and be absorbed at a rate that's meaningful. And that's what we did all the studies on, human and animal studies. And we use this only with Harbor Compounding Pharmacy in Costa Mesa here in California. They're the only ones who have that patent because they helped develop it with us. Now, can you take oral DMSA? And the answer is yes. You can use oral DMSA with a suppository. Oral DMSA is another amino acid that is created to help pull out heavy metal toxins. It is largely attributed to being very powerful in pulling out mercury. I don't use this. I don't use oral DMSA because of the side effect profile of oral DMSA. And it's not a bad side effect profile, but it is so powerful. The moving of mercury out of your body, you can get flu-like symptoms, headache, nausea, and I do believe I've seen one rash with it. I just decided not to use DMSA orally. I only use it as a test dose for my challenge, and that's it. So the answer is yes, they can be used together, absolutely. but I'm not a fan of this because I have found in my clinical practice that the reduction of mercury in the follow-up testings are just as good as with DMSA or penicillamine or other chelators that are out there that are by prescription. All of this is by prescription. So if you want to do that, I would go to a doctor who has been using DMSA orally for a long time, because I long since stopped using it, and I don't want to resume using it since I get such good effects with the EDTA itself. Is there another question?
Yeah, we got a couple more. This person's asking, how often is it safe to eat keto bread, considering that it has so many eggs in it?
How often can you eat keto bread since it has so many eggs in it? I make keto bread myself. I mix it with almond flour, and it has a lot of egg whites in it, and the yolks are separate, and you mix it with a little bit of Parmesan, Philadelphia cream cheese, I think is what I mix it with. But either way, if you have a food sensitivity to eggs, let's say you did our immunofood allergy test. On that test, it is an IgG, okay, an IgG, not IgE. IgE is an immediate anaphylactic mediated inflammatory response, allergic response to the item, that whatever it may be. But when we do the food allergies, these are slow IgG. Therefore, we teach our patients that if you avoid the offending foods on your list for 3 months, your healing of your gut, your immune system calms down enough that you can certainly eat that food probably 9 times out of 10 if you only consume it maybe every 4th or 5th day. So if you're having keto bread and you have a sensitivity history to eggs or its components, then I would say every 4th or 5th day is what I would do. And then, of course, you want to be cautious about any food you eat over and over and over again, because any food can become a food sensitivity, even healthy foods like avocado or cabbage. So try and remember for overall health, we teach our patients, try not to get hooked into a marketing regime where you're in a habit of eating this one food over and over and over again. The whole world is cycling. The whole world is on migrations. I was watching on when I flew out to the ACAM conference, the geese are flying south. You know, animals migrate, the fish migrate, everything has seasons. Things grow up seasonally. In the fruits, we're seeing the apple trees come to fruition now and so forth. So seasonal eating, rotational eating is the way you want to be. Try not to get hooked into a marketing regime on that. Hopefully that answered that question.
Yeah, she actually just had a follow-up if you'd be interested in sharing your recipe with keto bread somehow.
Oh, then I have to do it from my memory. Honestly, I just tell you the truth. I'm nothing special in the sense of this. I like you, go on to YouTube, and I will type in on YouTube keto bread, okay? And on the keto bread, there are many wonderful individuals out there now playing around and experimenting with the low carb plan. And I just copied one of those menus. I use the almond flour based one. I could use a different nut seed flour base. I do my egg whites and make them fluffy. I use butter, like a half a cup, 1/3 of a cup of softened butter when I make mine. And I will tend to add a little bit of Italian seasoning because I like my bread to have a little flavoring. And so I'll put a spritz of that into my bread, my dough. When I'm mixing my egg whites, I mix my almond flour, I mix my butter, and I mix the cream of tartar with it. And then a little bit of that seasoning, and then it turns out really, really nice. And my bread comes not maybe as high as a regular loaf, maybe 2/3, but it's good enough. Now, another thing I like to make is cloud bread. Again, go on YouTube, type in cloud bread, And essentially that is a no carb bread. And what you'll need is a cookie pan sheet with a parchment paper, and I still spray it with my coconut oil. And there I will take the whites of my egg yolks, my egg whites, and cream of tartar, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon. And with my egg yolks, I mix it with maybe 3 tablespoons of Philadelphia cream cheese, so it's soft. So I keep my Philadelphia cream cheese soft, and I mix it in with the egg yolks, and I kind of roll that into the egg white that's fluffed up, and I scoop out and I put this on my parchment paper as if it looks like a cookie, a wet cookie dough. And I'll get maybe 8 or 10 per pan, and then I'll bake it at 350 for 15 minutes. And I do sprinkle the top of these with my sesame Italian seasoning, just to spritz on top. So when this fluffs up, it looks like a bun with sesame seeds on it. It's really delicious. And then I use the 2 sides to be my sandwich as well. So that's another idea. But since you asked, I'm going to go look at my recipe and come back next week, and I will clarify if I missed anything, because that's from my memory. So.
Well, I just want to say, you just made me really hungry. So thank you. Yeah, one more question so far, and that is, some vitamin K2 has MK7 and some have MK4. What is the difference between the two, and which is better absorbed with vitamin D?
Well, that's where a lot of research is currently being done. So I don't know if I can give you absolute answers on that. Vitamin K, now we're learning, is not just vitamin K1, which is in spinach and leafy green vegetables, which is involved in coagulation processes. You might have a parent or a grandparent who is on Coumadin or some blood thinner, and the doctor will say, don't eat too much leafy green vegetables, because vitamin K1 is what they're talking to, will mess up the thinning of the blood of the medicine, and they'll have to adjust the Coumadin. What they have now found is that there's vitamin K2, MK4, MK7. So there are different types of vitamin K2. This is not really involved in any of this blood thinning at all. Rather, it's involved in a process of mobilizing calcium in the body, okay, with vitamin D. So it's like a cofactor. Which is more important? I don't think the answer is out there. So the products that we use have both, okay? And again, I'm using the company called Orthomolecular. Now, Orthomolecular only provides to clinicians. Their goal isn't to sell to the masses. They want doctors like us to get on board, get educated, and to learn about this and be prescribing this and teaching our patients why they're using it and how to use it. Because vitamin D, you could get too much. It is a fat-soluble vitamin, and fat-soluble vitamins can theoretically get very high. I've only seen it once in my experience in 40 years. So vitamin MK7, MK4 are variations of vitamin K2. It is involved in the transportation of calcium mobilization with the help of vitamin D to put it into its rightful places, our bones, as opposed to soft tissues like calcium plaques in your heart or the lipping on your spine and arthritis, these abnormal sites where inflammation and chronic irritation exists. So right now we're using a combination of this. I tend to favor the research on MK7. MK7 seems to have more favorable, powerful research, but I like to use a product that has both in it until we're more settled on that issue. Hopefully that answers that question.
Great, that's all the questions for now.
So again, we will be here Wednesdays, 9:45 to 10:15. We would ask you to type in your questions, join us, subscribe, and share this with your friends and family. This is a generalized forum on functional medicine, not individual advice. And we would encourage you, if you want, come to our seminars here once a month and meet us in live. And that's at 7 o'clock till 8:30, the second Thursday of every month. Otherwise, meet us here. And until next week, we'll see you then.
Thank you.